All right. Do you need life insurance? I get asked this question many times. I'm a licensed life insurance professional, certified in a couple of states. And the answer to that is yes, you do need it. Short answer, right? But here's the reason why. A lot of people say, usually the objections I get are, but I don't want to set myself up for dying or whatever, draw in bad luck or whatever, superstition, right? So I don't want to do that. So why would I get life insurance? That just confirms kind of what I'm afraid of or whatever. And so I typically say, you need life insurance because for different reasons. There's different stages of your life when you need it. When you have small kids, you need it to protect your kids and their care, right? So if something happens to you, there's enough money to support them. There's enough money to make sure that they get the education, the care that they need by people who either will be paid for it or will have money to actually support your kids, right? When you, again, different stages of life, it also is much cheaper to get life insurance when you're younger. Great stuff. I have some clients who buy insurance for their kids. When kids are under 18, typically we would go for whole life. So term life is typically not available, but at least that's what I've been told by the broker. But having insurance is really important because as the younger you are, the better rates you get because of the actuarial calculations and stuff, right? And so it's important to remember that life insurance for kids is one thing. For adults, again, if you have small children, it's protection for them. And then when you make more money, I love to set up people on a term life if they can afford whole directly, but term life first. And then that has a conversion option so that when they build more budget, when they have more money, they can convert it to whole life and make it an investment. And whole life insurance allows you to do something that other types of insurance don't always allow, and that's borrow against your cash value. And then you don't have to pay those loans back. There are different features of different policies, so it's all very client specific, but at the same time, really, really important. And why does it make sense? Well, it was explained to me a couple of years ago by somebody, and I really understood finally, because before I was like, why do I need cash value? Why do I need accumulation? Why do I need this or that? And so when I was explained that, it actually made a lot of sense. And here's what it was. When you have a life insurance and let's say you invest over 10 years, let's say you invest $20,000 a year, so $200,000, right? 10 years after that, for example, because the money is invested, or 15 years after that, I'm using made up values, your cash value is worth $600,000 with a death benefit, right, attached to a different death benefit, not necessarily 200,000. Usually it would be $500,000 to $1 million, maybe more. But let's say your cash value goes from 200,000 that you've invested over 10 years. Over the next 15 years, it goes to 600,000. Well, first of all, you can borrow against it, right? There are loans. But second, you've just had an investment triple, didn't have to file tax on it, didn't have to report this as income, and it's sitting there accumulating and waiting for you or your relatives to collect, or whoever matters to you, right? Doesn't have to be a relative. But that's the idea. That's why life insurance is so important. There is much more than just term and whole life. Term is cheap and affordable. Well, not always cheap, but usually affordable, more affordable than whole. So that's why it's nice to have for young families, for example, one of the examples. And then whole life is a good investment. And so typically there is all kinds of different investments that you can have, and it all depends on your goals. So life insurance is important. And if you don't have one, you don't have a policy, you should have it. Okay. All right, my friend, I'll see you soon.